Hello Leo, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We're looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section is looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I have pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I still have a different tarot deck I'll be pulling from for each side of this connection, as well as the advice deck I'll be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or a coaching session with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, the whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Please remember, take what does, or take what helps, leave what doesn't. All right, Leo, let's jump on in. On your side of this connection, you have a wild card with the Lovers. So I definitely feel as if you view this person through the energy of this Lovers card. You definitely feel as if they're, maybe kind of soulmate match for you. However, with this wild card, I feel like the connection's pretty unpredictable for you. It feels very unpredictable. Maybe you don't really know what they're going to do, what they're going to say, how they're going to act. And so, I mean, that can be kind of, difficult energy for sure, because you obviously feel a strong connection to this person. But then at the same time, I feel like you're like, I don't know, it's a very unpredictable energy for you. Now this person, and this is what's super interesting, has detachment with the Devil. And it's the reason that I feel that this is interesting is because the Devil to me is always represented like attachment. So detachment, and then you have attachment here. But I mean, the Devil represents many, many different things. But a lot of times in love readings, it can be like attachment. So the way that I read this is it's almost like they're detached from this connection, or like feel very removed. Now, not all the time, because again, I feel like sometimes they're showing up in this energy as the Lovers, and then sometimes they're showing up in this energy of the Devil. So not all the time, but there's something else that they're dealing with, this Devil here, or something that they are. Now, this could be like mental health issues. It could be addiction of some sort. So I don't really know necessarily what that is, but I do feel like there's something that's affecting their ability to fully kind of show up for this connection in the way that you're looking for. Now, in between this connection, you have dream come true with the Two of Swords. So I do feel like there's a part of you that's like, if this person could, get out of this Devil energy, this could be a dream come true kind of connection. Because again, with this Lovers, I do very much feel as if you and this person, or as if you feel as if this person is very much like your match. But then this Two of Swords indicates that a decision needs to be made in some capacity. Now, whether that's you or them, I'm not really sure. I also feel like what this could mean, because the Two of Swords can also represent like kind of black and white thinking, meaning that it's either this or this, there's no other option. Meaning that it's like this relationship has to work out, or I'm never going to have the kind of love that I deserve and desire, no other option. And sometimes when we get into that black and white thinking, we can block ourselves from what's best for us. But just kind of a side message there. But that's just the overall energy. Let's dive into the deeper story here, Leo, starting with your side of this connection. This is Leo's energy toward the person they are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. Leo's energy toward this person. All right. Leo's energy toward the person they're dealing with. Ooh, the World. Oh, Ace of Swords in reverse. Lack of clarity. You really feel a lack of clarity. in this connection. But here's the thing, because seeing the Lovers and the Ten of Cups, like you really see this connection as like your end all be all. Like it's them, they're my person, or could be my person. And this could also be a past energy, like something that you felt earlier in the connection too. But then it's just like there's this energy of you not being clear. Like it's like you don't know maybe what this person is thinking, how they're feeling, what they want. Even if you guys are like in a committed relationship, I still feel like you're like trying to read their mind, because I do feel like this detachment energy is making things really confusing for you, because you're like, some days they're one thing, the next day there's someone else completely, or they act completely different way, and you're like, but they're also probably not very vulnerable if they're dealing with that detachment energy. So you're trying to like read through the lines of their actions, and their actions are all over the place, which is leaving you going, what the hell? And so I do very much feel, oh my gosh, I didn't read the overall energy, which is stay optimistic about your love life. Okay, yeah, that's important. That's going to be important, I think, throughout the reading. But we'll come back to that in a little bit. So I do feel like you're stuck in this cycle of like, you see all that this can be, you see the potential in this person, you see the potential in the connection, but like you just don't know where they're at, or you have no idea what they're thinking, or like you're confused by their behavior, which I can already tell, just because this is very conflicting. This is very conflicting energy, which also could mean that their like words and actions are conflicting, or something along those lines. All right, Leo's side of the connection. Leo's side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Oh, there's the Lovers. Ooh, okay. On the surface. Okay, hang on. So what do I need to add onto this? Or do I need to add anything onto this? Because this is the same Lovers as you have on this wild card energy. It's like on paper, because you have this King of Pentacles in reverse, which to me can kind of represent more surface level energy. And then this Five of Wands here, Page of Swords, and then the Knight of Swords in reverse. Okay, I get what it's saying. So it's interesting because it feels like on the surface of this connection, this person probably seemingly checks a lot of your boxes. You're like, oh, this is like my type. This is the type of person I would go for. Like, this is it. Like, this is the person I've always wanted to be with. But then on the deeper level, where you feel chosen and secure and loved and prioritized and respected, or one or all of those things, it's like you're lacking that. So on the surface, it's like they check those boxes, but then below the surface, when you start kind of getting into the nitty-gritty of the connection, it feels like you're actually lacking a lot of what you need when it comes to your relationships. And that, with this Five of Wands, I feel like is very conflicting for you, because you're like, well, on one hand, I see, there's so many things about this person that I love, that I like, that I'm attracted to, but then on the other, like, there are these things that like I just feel like I'm sacrificing, or I'm sacrificing my needs or my worth or my value for the sake of these things. And I feel like that's left you kind of in this position of, I don't really know what to do, or I don't know what's the best decision for me. Now, the Five of Wands can also represent conflict in the connection, which means that, there's this, again, you see certain things about this person that I feel like you're very drawn to, but you're missing other things. And I feel like that creates conflict, because you're like, well, I would like to have both, because I need both someone that I'm attracted to and that I feel very drawn to, but I also really want to be with someone that makes me feel chosen, loved, prioritized, valued, all those things. So maybe there's the part of you that's really fighting for that in this connection, that's really trying to do what you can to make that other stuff happen. I will say, something that I've learned a lot about, like, unhealthy versus healthy relationships, is a lot of times in unhealthy relationships, people tend to prioritize how they feel about someone over how somebody makes them feel. Meaning, you can have strong feelings, you can have that attraction, you can have the butterflies, like all those things. But if you are feeling lonely and not secure and not chosen and not loved or prioritized in the way that you deserve and desire, then that is what you have to kind of focus on, because at the end of the day, that's ultimately what matters. Obviously both matter in a connection. I'm not going to say necessarily one matters more than the other, but I do think that we often forget that those things matter just as much as all the other stuff. So, paying attention to sure, this person checks a lot of boxes, but do they check the boxes of your soul? Your soul isn't just looking for someone that checks those service level boxes. Your soul is looking for someone that sees you for who you are and loves you and respects you and chooses you regardless of what's going on, which is possible. That is what you deserve. But again, I do feel like there's this energy of being a little bit conflicted, because you do see a lot of good in this, which is probably where that potential comes from. Is you're maybe there's a part of you that's oh, I've never felt this way, or this is the best I've ever had, or this is the most I've ever, I've never felt this way about a specific person before, whatever the case is. I feel like there's that energy of maybe blinding yourself a little bit to how this person is making you feel, because you do have such strong feelings for them. The stay optimistic about your love life, I think, is you needing to know that regardless of how things work out in this connection, you can still and are very much capable of having the love that you are looking for in this connection. A lot of times, and this goes back to that black and white thinking, which is something that I've had to work through a lot in my own personal journey, so I certainly get it. But a lot of times we really have this all or nothing. It's it's this or it's nothing. If this connection with this person doesn't work out, I'm never going to have anything as good as this could be. I'm going to be alone forever. I'm never going to heal from this. I'm never going to move on. We have a tendency to have that all or nothing thinking, which leaves out this middle ground of well, maybe there's a different path that can lead me to the same outcome, the same experience, the same feeling as I'm looking for through this path. So stay optimistic regardless of how things work out, whether, in this connection. I do feel like the Spirit is saying you are still very much going to be able to have the love that you deserve and desire. Okay, another card for Leo's energy toward this person. The Nine of Wands. In reverse, okay. King of Cups. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio energy definitely doesn't have to... Oh, because there's this devil. Oh, okay. It's in reverse. It's the King of Cups in reverse. And then there's the devil. Knight of Swords in reverse, which is... We've seen that too. Okay. So it's obvious that this person is dealing with some devil energy, okay? Whatever this is. And I feel like this is what holds them back from the connection. But as they're dealing with this, it feels like you're holding on through that to basically say, once this, gets better, once this person, whatever the case is, heals, releases themselves from addiction, whatever, but then things will be so good. But there's this energy of chasing. Now, chasing is when we're trying to, we're trying too hard to make something happen, basically, out of a fear that if it doesn't, we're not going to be happy, loved, have what it is that we deserve. And chasing, sometimes we don't even realize that it's happening. Chasing isn't just obsessively being in someone else's energy and pick me and choose me and please, please, please. That's not necessarily what chasing means. Chasing a lot of times can mean waiting for somebody to change, even if you're removed from their energy, or even if you're just kind of staying back and waiting for things to happen. That can still mean keeping yourself in a position of believing that things have to work out one specific way, because I feel like this person's struggling a lot. Now, not saying that we shouldn't be there for other people when they're struggling, but it is important to make sure that we're not putting ourselves in a position where we are over prioritizing somebody else's needs over our own, to the extent that it becomes a detriment to our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. And I feel like that's something that I feel like Spirit really wants to bring through in this reading, is just making sure that you're not holding on to potential to the extent where you are putting yourself through hell waiting for that potential. Because, gonna be honest with you, seeing the potential in someone and loving someone for that potential or choosing someone for that potential doesn't actually exist. And there's no guarantee that it ever will through that person. However, the potential that you see in terms of what you're looking for through the connection, I'm looking to be loved, chosen, valued, seen, heard, and while I'm also feeling very attracted to someone, or whatever the case is, like, that is still possible. You can still have that potential you see in the connection. It just might not be through this person. And I'm not saying it is or isn't, but we can't approach our relationships from this place of I need to make this work. Because when we're coming from I need to make this work, we're going to do things that don't necessarily align with us in the process of trying to make it work. And that's not necessarily, a lot of times it's because we love hard, especially if you consider yourself an empathetic person. It's absolutely important and beautiful to have empathy for other people. Absolutely. But it's also important to make sure that you're extending that empathy to yourself, that it's not just toxic empathy, right? That you're over empathizing with what someone else is going through and where someone else is at, and under empathizing with what you need and how you feel. Okay, this person's energy toward Leo, detachment with the devil. What the heck is going on here? Because they're detached from this connection because of this devil. This person's energy toward Leo. Withdrawn. I hear withdrawn. Withdrawn. Because there's something in the way of this. It's like whether they're prioritizing work or friends or, like I said, addictions or things that aren't really good for them is what it, yeah, there it is. The 9 of Wands in reverse. I literally said, oh, and there's the devil. Remember, we just saw that. We just saw the 9 of Wands in reverse with the devil right here. Like, it was literally right here. So I shuffled the deck. But anyway, you believe me. You remember. You were there. And it's almost as if there's something that, like, isn't good for them that's keeping them from being able to fully invest in the connection. Some sort of attachment here. That's in the way. Something that they're prioritizing, something that they're choosing that isn't good for them. Or that they're struggling with, maybe not consciously choosing. This person's energy toward Leo. Obviously, yes, this could be third-party energy, but you would know about it. This is something, because whatever this is, it showed up in your energy. So you know whatever it is that they're dealing with here. This is not like, this isn't surprise new information for you. So I don't know what it is, but okay, this person's energy toward Leo. What does Leo need to know about this person's energy toward them? Ego and fear. Ego and fear. They're making decisions that align with ego, that align with fear, more so than align with love, with what their heart and their soul truly desires here. It's like, this is very much energy of, like, I don't know, choosing a safe route or choosing distraction because they don't want to face themselves. Because if there's chasing energy showing up for you, there's going to be running energy for them, because that's just anything that we chase is going to run the other way. So it feels like whatever they're prioritizing, it's like it's easier for them to do that than to face themselves or face the fear that they have, maybe when it comes to love, or I don't know. And I feel like you've been waiting this out. You've been waiting this out because I do feel like there are so many things about this person that does check those boxes, but I feel like that's becoming unhealthy for you because you're like I said, over prioritizing what they want and need and under prioritizing what you want and need. Especially if you're like, oh, you have a lot of empathy for this person. I do understand why this is kind of conflicting, confusing energy though, because I do feel like there are times where they do show this Lover's energy, but then but then they go back to this Devil. It's like between the Lovers and the Devil. This person's energy toward Leo. They're choosing ego. They're choosing fear. This is withdrawing because of fear. Withdrawing because of fear and choosing something easier. Or is it like for instance, oh, this is too much for me to handle. I'm just going to throw myself into work and I'm going to completely over prioritize work and not face how I'm feeling. Like doing whatever they can do to not have to face how they feel. That's what this energy is. This has nothing to do with you and how much they value you. This is themselves in their own little battle here. Prioritizing something that isn't good for them, it's like something that allows like an escape, something that allows them to escape or distract themselves, that makes it easier for them to handle things. Now, that's why it's so important that you make sure you're choosing, you're making decisions based on where this person, like who this person continues to show up as, because I don't really see this energy changing. It feels very stuck, actually. It feels like it's like, this is how it is. But again, it's like you see so much potential in this connection that I feel like you've been, I don't know, like patient or very understanding, which, sure, that's important, but just make sure you're taking care of yourself too. Make sure that you're getting what it is that you deserve. And if you're not, make sure you're setting boundaries that are appropriate, in alignment with that. Because I do feel like, this is this energy of someone who maybe has a tendency to over empathize with what others are dealing with. And like I said, under empathize with your own needs and desires when it comes to relationships, which can get you into kind of dangerous positions where you're basically saying, you're trying to save, fix, or heal somebody. And in the process of that, you kind of end up drowning. When you're trying to save someone who's drowning, you tend to end up drowning too, because especially if someone who's drowning isn't trying to save themselves and you're trying to both save them and keep yourself above water, like that's not going to be sustainable. Eventually you're going to get tired, you're going to become empty, and it's going to start to, you're going to start to drown too. And the only way to really save yourself is kind of to let go of that person, let them kind of face what they need to face and deal with what they need to deal so you can save yourself. Because I think a lot of times we feel like our purpose in this life, especially if you feel, oh, this is my twin flame, like I'm here to save them or I'm here to be their healer, whatever the case is, that's not actually how that works. You're here to heal you. And however that affects the people around you is fantastic, but make sure that you're not putting your healing or your growth on hold to try to heal, save, or fix someone else, because that will leave you stuck too. In between this connection, you have dream come true with the Two of Swords. We're looking at the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Thank you so much, Leo, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Leo, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. Bye, Leo.